I don't know if anyone can relate, but growing up, many a times an elder family member would cite examples of how women should speak less, they should be soft and submissive, of how God has decreed in certain religions that women were meant to be subservient to men, or that they were created for men, or that they were supposed to obey men. It used to make me deeply sad because a human being telling you that you are less of a human being is painful enough. But what if God says that? It's kind of messed up on another level. By the way, these were pre internet times, so I couldn't just Google the history of evolution of religion and why almost every religion existing today implicitly or explicitly announces man as the superior sex, as the default, as the one originally created in the image and likeness of God, while woman is the inferior sex. She is an afterthought. She is in fact created for the man to be his mother, his wife, his companion, the bearer of his children, etc. Aristotle went as far as to say that a woman was a deformed man. Have things always been like this, or were they ever different? Is this the default setting of the world, which modern day feminism is trying to uproot, thus creating chaos? Let's see. So it's generally agreed upon by historians and anthropologists that modern human beings or Homo sapiens appeared on this planet around 300,000 years ago. The oldest fossils of modern humans yet discovered have been discovered in Jebel Irhoud, Morocco. Subsequent sets of fossils with progressively modern features have been found in Ethiopia, suggesting that early evolution happened in modern day Africa. Mitochondrial DNA studies also support this hypothesis, indicating that all human beings can trace their ancestry to a population that lived in Africa 200,000 to 300,000 years ago. There is also archaeological evidence suggesting that Homo sapiens began migrating out of Africa and towards Asia, Europe, and Australia around 60,000 to 100,000 years ago. So far, so good. So, were these humans always patriarchal? Nope. In fact, anthropological evidence suggests that for the majority of human history, societies were mostly egalitarian with no strict hierarchies. How can we point to the absence of very strict hierarchies? Prehistoric burial sites, for one. They suggest largely similar grave goods for both men and women, suggesting similar social status. Archaeologist Ian Hodder, in his book that he wrote on one of the oldest known permanent settlements in the history of human race, Çatalhöyük, modern day Turkey. The book is called The Leopard's Tale. He suggests that the society showed no signs of an organized hierarchy of one gender over the other, and women played equally significant roles in the political, religious, and economic spectrums of life. Studies of prehistoric remains across the American continent show that 30 to 50% hunters were women. An example of this is the Sun people of the Kalahari Desert, one of the last remaining hunter gatherer societies today, who can be taken to provide a modern analogy for how early humans may have lived. In the year 2020, archaeologists discovered a female hunter's burial site in Peru with a toolkit for a big hunting game, shattering the myth men hunted, women cooked. Even in societies where men did primarily hunt, gathering has always been a more reliable source of food, which was mostly carried out by women. When God Was a Woman, this is a very interesting book written by Merlin Stone. She talks about several Neolithic cultures in Mesopotamia, Anatolia, and Europe, and ancient civilizations like the Sumerians and Egyptians and the Indus Valley people who worshipped powerful goddesses. So the idea of a god wasn't always automatically attributed to a male figure. Archaeological statues like Venus figurines in multiple cultures show deep reverence for women. Several scholars associate the rise of patriarchy to the shift to agriculture, which was around 10,000 years ago. Settled down and started owning land, property and inheritance became central themes in a person's life. Paternity thus became very important since men wanted to ensure that it was their own offspring inheriting their accumulated wealth and property. Men increasingly controlled more land, they controlled the economy, and eventually controlled women's bodies and reproductive rights to strictly ensure paternity. Concepts such as virginity and purity that weren't always a part of civilizations, as can be seen by one Google search of the Ajanta and Ellora temples in India, became the defining tenets of a woman's desirability. as they ensured that there was no possibility that a man's accumulated wealth will pass on to the progeny of another man. And desirability became the core social currency of a woman. The book When God Was a Woman and archaeological evidence also suggests that several of these temples worshipping goddesses and Venus figurines in indigenous religions were systematically destroyed during the Indo Aryan invasion, who violently conquered these societies and established their idea of a male god there. So, if we assume that Homo sapiens came about around 300,000 years ago, and for a vast majority of this period, there is no clear indication of a social hierarchy defining men as having a higher status than women, and patriarchy came into being 10,000 years ago, we have been a patriarchal society for about 3% of the total time that we have existed. In the closing notes for part 1, I would like to say it's crucial to recognize that every major religion we follow today, or the form in which we follow it today, emerged in already patriarchal societies. These religions were shaped within the social structures that already prioritized male dominance, and their doctrines inevitably reflect those same biases. The idea that men are the default, created in the image and likeness of God, while women are often depicted as afterthoughts or subordinates, is not a divine truth, but it's a reflection of already existing historical power structures. Religion did not invent patriarchy, it absorbed the already existing patriarchy in society. In part 2, we will examine each major religion individually, tracing how patriarchal influences shaped their doctrines and interpretations. Let's find it out together. Thank you.